Nobody is going to tell you this to your face. That is the hardest part. The people in your life who are not taking you seriously are not going to sit you down and explain why. Your coworkers who talk over you in meetings are not going to send you a memo about it. The person who dismissed your idea and then praised the exact same idea when someone else said it is not going to apologize. The friends who nod along but never actually listen are not going to confess that they do not quite take your words seriously. It just keeps happening silently, invisibly, and you feel it without being able to name it. That invisible feeling has a cause, and the cause is almost never what you think it is. It is rarely about your intelligence. It is rarely about your qualifications. It is rarely about whether your ideas are actually good. Research in social psychology and behavioral neuroscience has identified very specific patterns of behavior, communication, and self-presentation that trigger a response in the human brain that essentially files a person under the category of not a priority. And the most painful truth is that most of these patterns are invisible to the person projecting them. Today that changes. We are going to go through the exact psychological reasons people are not taking you seriously, and by the end of this, you are going to understand not just what is happening, but precisely how to change it, starting with your very next interaction. First, you need to understand the mechanism behind how human beings assign social weight to other people. Because this is not random, it is not arbitrary. It is a deeply wired neurological process that your brain runs on every person you encounter. Social neuroscientist Dr. Michael Graziano at Princeton, whose research maps how the brain models other minds, found that humans are constantly and unconsciously running what he calls attention schema assessments on the people around them. Your brain is asking without your conscious input, does this person's presence demand my cognitive resources or not? And it answers that question using a rapid-fire assessment of behavioral signals that happen in the first moments of any interaction and continue throughout every exchange. These signals determine whether your brain places someone in the high attention category or the low attention category. And once someone is filed in the low attention category, getting out of it requires understanding exactly what put you there in the first place. So let us break it down. The first reason people do not take you seriously is that you are over-explaining and justifying things that do not require explanation or justification. This is one of the most common and most damaging patterns, and it is almost always driven by an unconscious need for approval. It sounds like this. You make a decision, and then immediately launch into a lengthy explanation of all your reasons as if you were defending yourself in court before anyone has even questioned you. You share an opinion, and then immediately add qualifiers and disclaimers and alternative perspectives before anyone has pushed back. You ask for something, and then spend twice as long as necessary explaining why you deserve it. Here is what the observing brain reads when it sees this behavior. This person does not believe in what they just said. Research on communication and perceived credibility consistently shows that the amount of unsolicited justification a person provides is inversely correlated with how seriously they are taken. The more you explain without being asked, the more your brain signals to every person listening that you are not confident in your own position. High credibility people state things and let them stand. They answer questions when asked and do not perform their own defense before the trial even begins. The fix is uncomfortable but simple. Say the thing. Stop. Let the silence exist. Trust that what you said has value, without immediately burying it under a landslide of justification. That restraint will do more for your perceived credibility than any amount of impressive reasoning ever could. The second reason is that your follow-through is inconsistent, and people have unconsciously cataloged it. This one is invisible to most people because it plays out over time rather than in a single interaction. But the human brain is an extraordinary pattern recognition machine, and the people in your life have been running a silent data collection process on you without knowing it. Every time you said you would do something and did not do it. Every time you committed to a plan and quietly let it dissolve. Every time you expressed enthusiasm for something and then never mentioned it again. All of that got logged, and over time those logs formed a prediction. When this person says they are going to do something, how likely is it to actually happen? If that probability is low in the unconscious assessment of the people around you, your words lose weight. Not because people consciously decide to dismiss you, but because their brain has learned through repeated experience that your words and your actions have a loose relationship at best. Psychologist Robert Cialdini whose research on influence and persuasion is among the most cited in the field, identified commitment and consistency as one of the 6 foundational pillars of human influence. People extend trust and serious attention to those whose behavior is predictable and consistent. The path back from this is not grand gestures or dramatic promises. It is small, reliable follow-through repeated over time. Say less and do more. Make smaller commitments and keep every single one of them. Your words will gradually regain the weight they have lost, and the people around you will update their unconscious probability assessment accordingly. The third reason is one of the most psychologically fascinating and least discussed. You are too agreeable in the wrong moments. There is a pervasive belief that being liked and being taken seriously are the same thing. They are not. In fact, research from Harvard Business School on social dynamics and influence found that people who agree with everyone in an attempt to avoid conflict are consistently rated as less competent, less credible, and less worthy of serious consideration than people who respectfully but clearly hold and defend their own positions. Here is the neurological reason this happens. When you immediately agree with whoever spoke last, your brain signals to every observer that your opinions are not independently formed. They are socially reactive, and a person whose views are socially reactive rather than independently grounded is someone whose perspective adds no new information to the conversation. Why take seriously someone who will simply agree with the next person who pushes back? Disagree when you actually disagree. Not to be contrarian, not to perform confidence, but because your genuine perspective has value, and suppressing it to keep everyone comfortable is costing you the very respect you are trying to maintain. The most respected voices in any room are not the ones who agree the most. They are the ones whose agreement actually means something because everyone knows they are equally capable of and willing to disagree. The fourth reason is that your body language is leaking low-status signals that you are completely unaware of. We covered some of this in other contexts, but it deserves its own examination here, because the specific signals that make people not take you seriously are distinct and worth naming precisely. Upspeak is one of the most damaging. This is the pattern of ending declarative statements with a rising intonation as if every sentence is a question. It sounds like you are seeking permission or confirmation for your own statements, and the brain of every listener registers it as uncertainty and low confidence immediately. Excessive nodding while others speak signals over-eagerness to please and reduces your perceived status. Looking away or down when making an important point literally directs attention away from your own words at the exact moment you need people most focused on them. Filling silence with filler sounds like or you signals that you have not fully formed your thought before speaking and reduces the weight of everything that follows. None of these are moral failures. They are habits that developed for understandable reasons. But each one is broadcasting a signal that tells the social brains around you to allocate less cognitive attention to what you are saying. Record yourself in conversation if you can. Watch for these patterns. Awareness is the first step, and for most people it is enough to begin making rapid corrections. The fifth reason cuts deeper than any of the others because it is about something fundamental to how you move through the world. You are not taking yourself seriously, and people can feel it. This is not about confidence performance or projecting a persona. This is about something the brain detects at a level beneath conscious thought. Psychologist Amy Cuddy, whose research on presence and judgment became one of the most watched TED Talks in history, found that the internal state of a person bleeds through every layer of their external presentation regardless of how hard they try to hide it. When you do not fundamentally believe that your time is valuable, your opinions matter, and your presence deserves space, in a room, that internal state expresses itself in 1,000 micro-behaviors that collectively create the impression of someone who can be safely ignored. You accept being interrupted without noting it. You allow your boundaries to be casually crossed, and then rationalize why it was fine. You laugh off your own ideas before anyone else gets the chance to. You minimize your own accomplishments in social situations. Each of these behaviors sends the same signal to the social brain of every person watching. This person has assessed themselves as low priority. The brain of everyone around you simply agrees with your own assessment of yourself. The most powerful shift you can make is not a communication technique or a body language adjustment. It is deciding at the level of genuine belief that what you think, feel, and create deserves to be taken seriously. That decision will change every behavior on this list simultaneously. because all of them are downstream of that one foundational belief about yourself. The sixth reason is that you talk too much in the wrong moments, and it is diluting the value of your voice. There is a direct relationship between how often someone speaks and how much weight each individual contribution carries. Research on group dynamics and influence from studies at Columbia Business School found that beyond a certain threshold, the more a person talks, the less impact each thing they say has on the group. Overspeaking signals a need for attention and validation that paradoxically reduces the attention and validation you receive. The most powerful communicators in any room have mastered what might be called strategic silence. They listen more than they speak. They choose their moments carefully, and when they do speak, the room shifts slightly because everyone has learned through experience that when this person talks, it is worth hearing. You build that reputation not by having more impressive things to say, but by saying fewer things more deliberately. Before you speak in your next important meeting or conversation, ask yourself one question. Is what I am about to say adding something real, or am I speaking to fill space and feel present? That single filter applied consistently will transform how your voice lands with every person who hears it. Here is the truth that pulls all of this together. Being taken seriously is not something other people grant you after they have assessed your worthiness. It is something you claim through the accumulated signal of how you carry yourself, speak, follow through, and value your own perspective over time. Every pattern discussed in this video is changeable. None of them are permanent. None of them are who you are. They are habits of communication and self-presentation that developed for reasons that made sense once but are costing you more than you realize now. The people who command genuine respect in every room they enter are not smarter than you. They are not more talented than you. They have simply learned consciously or through experience how to stop broadcasting signals that give other people permission to look past them. Now you know what those signals are. The only question left is what you are going to do differently starting today.